Welcome to Spiritual Awakening family. Note, the twin flame experience is absolutely fascinating from an energetic perspective and so perfectly organized, while the human part of us struggles with it intensely. This article contains a lot of information that can be quite overwhelming at first. Take your time to integrate it. Feel what resonates. You might discover that each time you come back to it and reread it that you will find more information and getting a fuller picture. When we read about twin flames, the information beyond the romantic idea usually is all about finding the energetic balance. That is only half of the truth. Twin flames are not only here to balance their spiritual energetic aspects, they are mainly here to embody the new energetic templates of unconditional love, and that era has just begun. I have done so much energetic balancing work. I have connected with my twin regularly energetically in meditation. I have let go so many times, etc., etc. And yet, my twin flame is nowhere to be seen in the physical. Sounds familiar? There is a very common misunderstanding and information widely spread amongst twin flame groups that twin flames need each other to be whole and that this is the reason why they have to reunite eventually. This is exactly where many remain stuck. With this idea in mind, everything they do, they only do for the sake of reaching union. Guess what? That is a conditional belief and behavior based on lack. If I do all this work, I will reach union. As long as we are still thinking we need to reach something, we are not acting from a place of wholeness and are not in the now, but we are coming from a place of lack and fear. The key is to find the balance within and reaching a state of being truly unconditional. A state when we do not feel any need or attachment any longer, when we do not feel we need to reach something to be complete, when we are not attached to any certain outcome but open to all possibilities, including union. The key is to find the balance within and reaching a state of being truly unconditional. Of course, this is easier said than done, and we all know how challenging this journey is. How often we go through the intense ups and downs, asking ourselves why the heck we have to experience this and if this ever ends. And yet, the more we learn about ourselves, the more we learn about the dynamics and true purpose, the easier it becomes to navigate. The highs increase, the lows get less, up to a point when we are able to not only hold the higher fifth dimensional frequencies, but also embody them in a way to inspire and assist many others to go through the ascension process. In order to be able to do so and to fully enjoy life again, we need to rediscover our wholeness, creating the sacred union within, to have an harmonic dance of the masculine and feminine energies within us, and be able to fully express them through our physical body. Physical twins are made of the same makeup. DNA-wise, they are two individuals that are able to enjoy and live their life on their own without needing the other, and yet they have a close connection through their whole life. Just like physical twins, energetic twins, twin flames, also learn throughout their journey to create this independence without ever feeling disconnected from the energetic twin. The experience of the energetic connection changes over time. The more inner balance is reached, the lighter and more empowering it feels. Energetic twins do have more options physically. How the connection will play out, as they do have different genetic designs, so in human form they are no siblings. The connection could become anything in an embodied manifested form, whether as a partnership, a friendship or remaining a spiritual connection. This all depends on the agreements that have been made, what choices are made with the free will of the individuals, what timeline, altered reality is chosen, and what kind of service to human ascension is provided by the energetic pairs. And that is what we always need to be aware of. Although the human ego mind loves to remain attached to the idea of the one in physical form, the ego mind loves to identify with things and people, and yet it remains a fact. twin flames are energetic twins, not physical twins. They are not attached to one human body. This is the last big attachment and condition to overcome to reach complete freedom and balance within. The ego will fight against this idea, will judge, blame, justify to remain attached to this one last anchor to hold on to in the big chaos we find ourselves in. And yet, only if we let go of that idea, things can unfold beautifully in a beyond magical way. It is quite interesting that the most important aspect of the twin flame journey is hardly ever written about. The embodiment of the new templates for unconditional love and connections, relations with a partner and other people. Twins are able to share these new codes with everyone that comes into their field as soon as they have reached the sacred union within. We show how we can relate to others without any conditions, expectations, attachments or pain. We are fully anchored into the now moment, fully present with others, sharing amazing connections and experiences. We open hearts in an instant, as soon as people come into our field, and that is what we are here for. To assist people finding their way into New Earth, same planet, different frequency, different experience. And we can only assist because we know what people go through. We have experienced it ourselves. I have written about that and summarized the purpose in this blog from 2016. So, but what about reunion? Our ego will ask. The twin flame dynamics and the way they incarnated are set up in a very clever way, because the idea of having found the ultimate partner is what keeps us going to go through all the pain and despair, until we reach a point where we are able to navigate on our own, until we realize that there is so much more we did not see or understand before, and that our life transforms in ways that were way beyond our human imagination. The embodiment, physical reunion as a pair is only possible when the individuals have reached full alignment and balance within of masculine and feminine energies and have shifted fully into the higher frequencies of the fifth dimension, and that simply has not happened yet, because the energetic environment and template for planet Earth was not established and completed until the year of 2017. Even those twin flame couples that have reunited are not in full 5D embodied union yet, and are still struggling with the inner balancing and ascension symptoms while permanently balancing with the partner as well. We are now seeing the first more feminine counterparts, not gender-based, reaching this inner alignment and balance. Only when this inner balance is reached by the more feminine part, the heart-opening process can be kicked off for the more masculine part. That is just how energetic principles work. The feminine goes first, so we will have a Sex and the City 5D party for a while, with many feminine single counterparts holding space in 5D for the masculine to follow. Again, this does not automatically mean it leads to physical reunion and romantic partnership. The cool thing is, when we reach that state of inner wholeness, it does not matter anymore, because by then, we have experienced that we can share magical experiences and connect with others in beautiful ways, too. So what does it mean at this point? It simply means that now the masculine twin flame collective will be pushed into their awakening, inspiring the human collective to follow along with it. We will have a Sex and the City 5D party for a while, with many feminine single counterparts holding space in 5D for the masculine to follow. This alignment and shift happens on two levels: the spiritual level, the energy centers above the heart, and the earthly level, the energy centers below the heart. The heart-to-heart connection is already established by the twins energetically, as this is where the split soul energy field still is connected. How the twin flame journey plays out for the different individual pairs is depending on their individual energetic mix and setup, so there is no one-fits-all process. In order to understand all of this better, we have to take a look into the process of evolution, creation, and into the characteristics of the masculine and feminine energies, taking into account the different levels, spiritual level and earthly level, and the different energetic bodies, spiritual, mental, emotional, physical. The process of evolution, creation. In the beginning is chaos. The sea of possibilities we swim in is the spiritual feminine, Shakti, yin, life force. The spiritual feminine, our intuition, does nothing but float in this sea and scan all possibilities, being open to all options. She feels intuitively what resonates and what feels good. When we look into the string theory, this is when photons are still wave patterns. That is when synchronicities take place, when alike wave patterns align with alike wave patterns. Yet, nothing happens as long as we just float, until the masculine energy joins the dance and starts observing and focusing on a possibility. Then the photon becomes a particle. It takes form. The spiritual masculine starts structuring the chaos, to then make a choice, setting an intention. Instead of spraying the energy everywhere, the masculine bundles the energy and creates powerful momentum. This choice can be made based on love or on fear, trust or mistrust. The difference, commitment, detached from a certain outcome, or control, attached to a certain outcome. This choice impacts the whole manifestation of the individual reality in the embodied form and experience in the material world. This is the whole difference between the fifth and the third dimension, whether we experience abundance, unity and ease, or lack, separation and effort. Through this choice and intention, we enter the embodiment process. The spiritual masculine's intention kicks off the earthly embodied flow in form of an emotion to truly feel the creation ripening. This is the earthly feminine taking over. The moment an emotion comes in, we are truly dedicated to the experience we chose. Creativity is initiated, the being pregnant with an ideal project, being patient and trusting that everything comes together in perfect timing. Once the ideal project is ripe and ready to be born, the earthly masculine energy takes over again. Now it is time for action, for physical manifestation. The earthly masculine again bundles energy to make things happen. It becomes obvious that we all need to find this inner flow and balance first to become powerful creators and manifestors. Looking at this, it becomes obvious that we all need to find this inner flow and balance first to become powerful creators and manifestors. We all have our deficiencies and imbalances energetically that we are learning to balance out in the course of the process. That does not mean that we reach a 50 hours 50 minutes balance, and that is not the intention either. A healthy 60 hours 40 minutes, 40:60 proportion will still leave us with a preference and the ability to still create polarity. More on this you can find here. The spiritual feminine is the first one to go through this, and as mentioned before, the first ones of this group are about to complete this process. According to the energetic characteristics and laws, there is no other way than the spiritual feminine going first. A strong intuition is the basis for everything else to come. Only those that are able to see and feel all possibilities can initiate the necessary changes to pave the way for others to follow. According to the energetic characteristics and laws, there is no other way than the spiritual feminine going first. Now, having learned this, how does this apply to twin flames? Twin flames share the same energetic field but have decided for an unequal share of energies they will carry when they incarnate. This served to be able to create an intense polarity to make sure they would find each other again to initiate the earthly, human process of ascension, to make sure they would feel such an intense pull towards each other to stay motivated to go through this process individually. What happens though, is that the counterparts are constantly sucking the energy of each other where they have their deficit. That is why they experience such great longing and missing. Also, this is experienced by the spiritual feminine first, as her heart stays open after the twin flame encounter. No matter if that happened physically in the earthly realms or energetically in the spiritual realms, the masculine heart closes down again after the encounter. The masculine goes into a sort of passive sucking mode, without being aware of it at all. The closed heart causes him to remain in his old reality, and the twin experience is remembered as an intense sexual pull towards someone that was not meant to be any more than that. As they are no longer able to feel the heart-to-heart connection, they are not able to access emotions they experienced with an open heart either. This individual energetic mix is different for each couple. The most extreme ones would be what humans would label as a psychopath on the one end, like 95% spiritual and earthly masculine, extremely conscious and a real doer but not able to feel emotions, or have a lot of patience at all, and the cardio-empath on the other extreme, 95% spiritual and earthly feminine, extremely intuitive, sensitive and creative, but not able at all to focus, take decisions or get things done. In between there are many different options in terms of distribution of energies and combinations of energetic setups. There are twins that connect more earthly, sexually, physically first and discover a connection and flow there as never before, but they truly struggle with communicating with each other. That shows that they decided for a strong sexual polarity first, but not having established a mental connection yet. And there are twins that have an amazing mental click, being able to share and talk for hours, yet having sex with each other is downright impossible. The only thing all pairs share is the heart-to-heart connection. This also makes clear why the individual twin flame experiences are not the same for everyone. The running and the chasing. In many cases, the more spiritual feminine is more earthly masculine, and the more spiritual masculine is more earthly feminine. That also explains the very common running and chasing dynamics that often take place between twin flames. While the spiritual feminine aches to be with the other person, her strong immature earthly masculine desperately wants to make it happen and fights for it, chasing. She is not, yet, able to stay focused on her own process, deficit of spiritual masculine energy, and has no patience to let things develop in their natural way, deficit of earthly feminine energy. The running on the other hand is a very feminine fear reaction of the immature earthly feminine, flight or freeze response, getting into a place of not having to take action, but rather distract oneself by focusing on other projects, spiritual masculine, to not have to deal with all the possibilities with regards to the twin connection. Only when we have all of these parts back in a healthy balance within, and the individuals are able to navigate the process of creation from a place of love on their own, they are ready to enter the new phase of co-creation. Then it becomes a sharing and amplification of powerful individual energies, instead of pulling and sucking the energy of the partner and vice versa. Only when the formerly stronger spiritual feminine has found this inner balance, she has reached a state energetically, where she no longer needs to suck the energy of her partner, and therefore, she no longer provides energy to her counterpart anymore either. The vicious cycle of sucking energy from each other is broken through, and that is the point when the masculine counterpart starts feeling the void and is pushed into his own process of awakening. Only when the energy he was passively sucking from the counterpart is no longer available, he is forced to wake up and find his way to create this energy on his own. His world will fall apart. He will feel exhausted, incomplete and empty because of the missing energy. It will become so uncomfortable that he will search for an answer and a solution to find his inner balance as well. Female and male characteristics. So how can I tell whether I am balanced or not in the different parts? Here is a little overview on the balanced and imbalanced characteristics of the masculine and feminine traits so you can see for yourself where you stand in your own process. When we are able to create all of the feminine and masculine traits in the balance column for ourselves, we have reached a state of inner wholeness. That also requires that all of our fear and belief patterns have shifted, which I have written about in many of my blogs, so I will not repeat it here. At this point, we have integrated our ego, Our heart center is open full-time and inspires anyone coming into our field. No matter in which dimension we are, we hold our frequency. Our mind has shifted into parallel mode and linear time is no longer existent. Our physical body has released all lower dimensional patterns from the cellular memory. We are fully anchored in the fifth dimension. Thus, the balancing and shifting for powerful embodiment takes place on different levels. Each energy center, former chakras, each body, mental, emotional, physical, and earthly, spiritually. As said, the experiences differ widely depending on the individual energetic mixes and splits. So what does that mean for our twin flame experience? It means that anything is possible. In a world without conditions and expectations, we are taking it as is, and are enjoying every single bit of it. We are seeing the purpose of it all, even when we have a shitty day, week or month. Our divine counterpart will always be in our heart, and all we can feel is love and gratitude for them, for being our best trigger, teacher and partner to support us in reaching this state of independence. Once we don't need them anymore, once we do not feel the longing anymore, we know that we have shifted for good and are holding our balance and embodying the higher fifth dimensional frequencies on our own. As long as there is a longing and missing, we are trying to pull energy from our counterpart, instead of creating the energy for ourselves. Getting out of the energetic comfort zone and training those parts of us where we are not balanced is key. This will step by step bring you back into the place where magic is a daily business and everything happens effortlessly. I hope you like the video. Welcome to your channel. Don't forget to check out the other